Welcome back to the Lord's Prayer. This is number 10, video number 10, and it is the last of this short series. I hope you've enjoyed these thoughts. I've certainly enjoyed putting them together and presenting them to you. God richly bless you wherever you are and whatever you put your hand to. The last line here is, "And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil." Now, look, this is a very big topic, isn't it? But if we reflect back to context, I think we'll have some interpretation made for us. It wasn't long before this that Jesus was at the desert or in the wilderness, where he was being tempted by Satan, and these temptations were all about power. They weren't about moral temptation so much, but they're about the illegitimate use of power, about bypassing God's program and will for Jesus, and about subserviating himself to the will and power of Satan, which thing he was never going to do. But even though that may be a fait accompli to us, this wilderness was actually a significant and serious event in the life of Jesus. He came out of this wilderness experience in the power of the Spirit. He went in filled with the Spirit. He came out in the power of the Spirit. I wonder if Jesus is saying, I don't want you to face what I did. I don't know if you could actually bear what I did. And I think he's correct, if that would be the thought. And it could be just asking, and I think it's just as valid, to say, don't let us be tempted beyond our due. Now look, every one of us have levels at which tempting or testing actually strengthens us and brings a new vitality into our soul. But there's a point after which it destroys. And only God can know where that is, that line that divides. And I wonder if Jesus is saying, pray that God keeps you so that you don't cross the line into an area where God's presence and protection are not with you. Just a thought. And it doesn't seem to be talking about moral temptation per se. This one thing I do know, this prayer is prayed far too seldomly. If that's a word, seldomly. Yes, it is a word. It is now, isn't it? Say it enough, and the Oxford Dictionary will include it, or Wikipedia, or some such erudite repository. So what's being said is, in this particular case, is it's an admittance, I think, to vulnerability. It's saying, Lord, we aren't all we think we are. We need your help. And I've over the years prayed this prayer, Lord, keep me from temptation. Keep me from testing beyond my capacity to maintain my walk with you. Because you see, evil is real, it's personal, and it takes no prisoners. So I wonder if Jesus isn't thinking of all of those things and reflecting back on his time in the wilderness and saying, God, keep you. He prayed the same for Peter. He said, I prayed for you that your faith may not fail, even though Satan had desired to sift him. And he was sifted, but he didn't fail. And that was because Jesus prayed. I wonder if we should pray this prayer more often so that we don't fail. So, in summing up, the Lord's Prayer starts with a recognition of God and of his kingdom will, and ends up with a recognition of us, our humanity, and our lack of triumph. And this is as it should be. The Lord's Prayer puts God in the right place, and it puts us in the right place. So I hope you've found some thoughts, some takeaway value in these reflections on the Lord's Prayer. God bless you. Thank you for joining with me.